And Tokyo is a world-class city with every amenity imaginable. But there's one civic problem that no one seems to be able to solve. The megalopolis is infested with squawking, disruptive, and inconsiderate crows. But is there more to the crows than just being a nuisance to residents? Two filmmakers decided to explore this question in a film that is part poem, part historical record of an ever-changing Tokyo, and one of its constants, the crows. Here's an excerpt.
江戸時代の終わり頃、アメリカ人だとかヨーロッパ人が日本へ来て、そしてカラスがすごいずうずうしいっていうので驚いてるんですよね。野生の鳥があんなに近づいたり、なんかろうそくを食べたり、なんかいろんないたずらを目の前でやると。
ここの場合は確かに公園の中なので、少し森で暮らしてるような気分には、若干なりますけれども、でもここも大都会のど真ん中で。
っていうようなその建物がずっと長くこう持つっていうふうに思わないカルチャーっていうのがもともとあって。
都市に独特のリズムっていうものを与えていて、ある種のメタボリズムだというふうに考えていて、僕は東京の自然は基本的には人工的なものだと思っていて、サービスとして提供されているものだと思ってるんだけれども、
こう見てるだけで渓流をイメージして作ったんですけども、渓流のサササーという音がね、流れの音が聞こえてきそうな感じは僕はすると思ってるんですけども。
おとなしいですよ、ここのカラス。
くちばしか爪かわからないんですけど、そこで切ってって
私たちがコントロールできない動物、生物もこの世にはたくさんいて、人もその三本全部というか、その中の一種類に過ぎない。
And we've just watched a clip from the film Tokyo Waka. It's a poem about the city, and it's 20,000 crows. And we're joined in the studio now by the filmmakers of Tokyo Waka, Kristine, Samuelson, and John Haptas. Thank you both for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
What led you to make a film about crows, of all things?
Well, you know, we were doing some teaching in Asia several years ago, and we, on our way home, stopped in Japan, where we had never visited before. And we were staying in a guest house where we had, you know, not these double thick windows you have at the Hyatt or something like that. And so every morning we'd be awakened by these very squawky crows. And we thought, this is such a megalopolis. Why are there so many birds? And we ended up noticing them everywhere and starting to realize there might be a story there. Mm-hmm. And so we came home and we started looking into that story, which is quite interesting, and thought maybe this would be something we could bring back with us to Tokyo as a way to look at the city, but also to look at this civic issue. So that was the beginning for us.
And so this piece, as you mentioned, reflects deeply sort of on the man-made environment in Tokyo, being at odds with nature, and it's sort of represented by the crows being a nuisance. Was this first a poem about the crows, John, that then became a metaphor for modern Tokyo?
Well, I think we first wanted to talk about the city, and what struck us about it was the fact that it is one of the most modern cities on earth, and at the same time, with the crows, we realized that you can't keep nature out. It's indefeatable. And we realized that the crows presented for us a way to get into talking about the city. We could talk about the crows, which we felt was intrinsically an interesting story, and at the same time use that as a way to get at some of these larger issues about what a modern city is like. You know, what does nature mean in a big city, in a modern city? What's people's relationship to it? Where do you draw the line between people and the animals they're coexisting with? And we were hoping that people would take away the idea that this is one big ecosystem, and they can't look at the crows as on the other side of some line. In fact, this line doesn't really exist the way people often think it does.
So do you think that that is a lesson that Tokyo residents have learned following your documentary, that that's what it's learned from 20,000 crows?
You know, I think they've been learning it for some time now, because the crow population increased, almost to 100,000 in the 90s, and then they started abating them with traps and all of these things, which were quite effective. And so they've been thinking about crows for quite a while, particularly because there are crow attacks during nesting season. And during that time, the crows will swoop down and peck someone in the head if they think they're getting too close to their babies. And this is something we actually deal with in the film. They're not trying to attack humans, they're trying to push them away from any proximity to the nests. And so I think in some ways, Tokyo citizens are very fearful of crows. Many don't like them, but many do like them because they see how smart they are. They see how quickly they figure out which day the garbage is being picked up.
Oh, really?
And which houses have the best, most luscious garbage for them to eat. So the crows are also kind of a constant source of fascination. So depending on who you speak with in Tokyo, you might get a very different answer. But they're aware.
That's interesting. And what does Waka mean in the title, Tokyo Waka?
Well, a waka is a form of poem. It's an old form. It's a long form. And we thought that actually seemed appropriate. We liked the sound of it, first of all. But we also felt it sort of would get across what we were trying to do with the film. The film is sort of discursive. It doesn't have a natural arc. There's not like a person facing a problem who surmounts it and then we have a nice resolution. We just tried to wander through the city, touching on a number of different issues. And we felt that it was poem-like in that respect. We tried to actually also have the film have the feeling of just looking at beautiful images at times, having people maybe let their thoughts wander a little bit. And so we thought that was, in a way, a metaphor for how we put the film together.
Well, it sounds fascinating, and it must have been such a great journey for you. I know that you lived in Tokyo for quite a while you were making this, even learned Japanese.
Well, we did study it for a year and a half.
That's putting it very generously.
We have a long way to go.
On a good day, we were in second grade.
Yeah. Well, that's better than me. I'm not in any grade in Japanese. Thank you both for joining us, Kristine and John.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
And you can visit stilofilms.com to learn more about the filmmakers and Tokyo Waka.
U.S. airwaves, a global channel of uncompromising stories. World news, documentaries, entertainment, and culture. Link TV, connecting you to the world. For more information, visit linktv.org.